I need to color my hair.
Oh no, here we go. This is on video, guys. Wow. Hey everybody, welcome to Pink Shade. This is a bonus episode, and if you're not watching on video, you just missed Matt do a twirl and a poncho that he's wearing because it's fall, y'all, so he's in his poncho.
It's poncho season in Southern California. It's a little hot, it's a little cold, and you don't want you have your arms covered. Apparently, I can't say the word cold this
It's
morning.
cold.
Cold.
It's cold. Now,
hey, thank you for having me here.
Listen, girl, we talk a lot.
A lot. We do. We haven't talked a lot though lately. You've been blowing up your house and I've been blowing up my life. So we've been busy.
That's not true. That's not true. I have been crazy busy and it's not going to slow down, but usually we try to do a FaceTime like once a week. And we haven't gotten a chance. So we talked for 30 minutes before. We'll talk for 30 minutes after, and that will be our catch up.
And we might go off on tangents on this show, but I'm going to try not to have the gay DD.
We're going to try. We're going to try to stick it to Martha. Now, right before we started, I meant to ask you. So this RJ Cutler that did this Martha documentary, I know he did he do Menendez?
Did he?
I know, but RJ Cutler, you know what, instead of me just look it up and see, because RJ Cutler has done a lot of the amazing documentaries of our time. I know that I'm putting my fan on, guys. Sorry.
Oh, he did. It looks like he did Elton John. He did. What else did he do? He did The War Room, A Perfect Candidate, the September issue. Listen to Me, Marlon.
The September issue is a really good documentary.
He worked on Nashville.
He's Kate Casey knows him, of course, but she has had him on a couple times, and she had him on to talk about this. So go and find that Kate Casey episode if you're interested in RJ Cutler interview. I put my fan on because I did that LED light thing on my face, and I did it double because I'm an overachiever, and now my face is red. So if you're watching on video, I'm sorry, but I put my little fan on in the background to cool my face off. Cool my face off. Now, what are you looking for?
Do you need me to?
What are you looking for?
Fan?
Oh, your Pink Shade fan. Can you hold it up for the people? Do you think we should sell those in our store? We don't sell them. We just give them to people that we love.
I like that it's a gift. It's special for someone.
Yeah.
I like it. Now listen to this, because I did a quick Google for you gays out there.
Yeah.
He was RJ Cutler was James Lapine's assistant on the original Broadway production of Into the Woods.
Oh, okay. I don't know James Lapine, but I do know Into the Woods.
Big Broadway director. Did a lot of stuff. Did gay stuff, you know.
Well, Into the Woods is not super gay.
Oh, that wolf is gay. R.I.P. Gavin Creel. Sorry, that was sad.
James Corden. James Corden, that's how I learned about him.
Oh, yeah.
Not gay, but just mean.
No. It's my friend worked on the show and loved him, but it was his boss. So I think that's why he said he loved it.
Okay. Martha is a documentary by RJ Cutler. It's on Netflix, everybody. It's been out for a little bit of time, but I just got around to watching it, and I wanted you to talk about it, even though I don't think you're like a giant Martha Stewart fan. I just thought you would like this doc to talk to me about.
Well, I did, but you got the right person, because one of my very good friends was Martha Stewart's assistant for 7 years.
I can't believe that.
She's actually in the documentary. You can see her. Whenever it's the part, I have some tea. I'll share it at the end.
Okay, tea at the end. Okay.
But because I was talking to her last night about it. But when they show basically when they're talking about Martha being a bitch to people, that's when they showed my friend.
But which part?
So there was like an older, and my friend, they were staring. Two women were this woman and Martha. My friend's a blonde, dirty blonde white woman, and she's looking down at a piece of paper. And Martha's looking at her, and she's like, "No, that's not right." And then she calls someone on the phone to not paint the cabinets.
Okay.
That was my
I
friend.
really, this morning, my intention when I got up was to watch it a second time. It's 2 hours, so it's kind of hard to do that. But I ended up like making breakfast, and the workman showed up, and then the dogs wanted to snuggle, so I didn't watch it a second time. So I just sort of made notes off the top of my head. But both my husband and my daughter said they were going to watch it with me last night, but no one did.
They did not.
They didn't. It was just me, but that's fine.
That's fine. And Ginger.
Ginger.
Ginger
I sent Matt the video. Ginger, she killed one of her lammies. She only has 100, but she was real despondent that I wouldn't give it back to her.
The shade of that dog, just whimpering, y'all. Whimpering. And looking at you like, you dumb bitch. Why? No, give me that.
No, you can't have it back, because once you make a hole in it, and she's trying to get to the squeaky, and once she got, and then she started pulling the stuffing out, and she did a little, like she bared her teeth at me a little bit, but.
I feel like they should make better dog toys.
Her original Lammy, she was a baby, has lasted 3 years. She has not been able to rip a hole in that Lammy, but that particular Lammy, she was able to rip a hole in it. So we just replace it with Halloween Lammy or birthday Lammy. We've got so many.
It's time for Christmas. It's time for Christmas Lammy.
It is. Yeah. Anna needs to go get one. It's the cult of Lammy is a real thing with dogs. There's a whole TikTok about it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I should include Ginger.
People are bored. I don't know.
How dare you? All right, Martha Stewart. So we opened this documentary with her walking around her property and making voice notes, which I loved. It was like she's on like 14 acres walking around and being like, tree number 12 in lot number 7 to the top left corner, there are 7 leaves amiss. I don't like it. End. New paragraph. It's like, oh my God.
You know what? I was impressed that, because I have to look. What is her age again?
She's 83. She's the same age as my mother.
My 70-year-old parents could never do a voice note like this. They don't know how to do that. I was just impressed that she learned.
So my mother, when she texts, one of us will have to go behind as the translator, because it makes no sense, because sometimes she types it and sometimes she voice notes it. And I have to go behind and go, I think what Mom is saying here is, from her friend Nancy, there was not a spot found on the lung. But it didn't say that, but you have to cobble together. And then we'll say, the other sister will say, thank you for the translation. She is so succinct with her words. New paragraph, period. Yeah. I don't like it. Exclamation point. Start over. The level of detail and perfection listen, it works for her or it doesn't, but surely there's some untreated OCD, may not be the right word. I don't know what it is, but she does, spoiler at the end, say not everything has to be perfect, but I don't think she really felt that way. I think she just said it. No,
she just said that. Her publicist said, say that you're going to be relatable.
Yeah. No. So she starts off the documentary talking about her need for perfection. And she's always had that. She says, in her early life, she was always taught, and that was the society, she's the same age as my mother, was always taught that marriage was the most important thing. And that's what you do. So that's what you do. So her family kind of fell on hard times. Seems like her dad was she seems like she gets all of this personality traits all come from her parents. With the dad being, everything has to be perfect. And
the dad seemed wonderful, real kind. It's just sweet. Huggable.
And that her mom was very cold and cut off. And I found that to be really, really interesting, because I think that in my own family, I can say that I don't think my grandmother was like that at all. I think my grandmother was wonderful, but she was very, very happy homemaker. And then it didn't necessarily trickle down to her daughters, like my mom and her sisters. None of them are like this. Right. But it is always in you. Like, this is what you do. And you go to college, not the whole time, maybe just a little bit, get a husband, get married, and then you're a happy homemaker, and then you have kids, and it's very Mad Men, right? It's exactly that. So it's so interesting to me that this is the way Martha was, and she's just unapologetically, but she was not remotely maternal with her daughter.
No.
And didn't have more than one kid. Didn't really even seem to want to have that one. And she says flat out, I how could I mother when I wasn't mothered?
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't touch enough on the relationship with the daughter.
Well, and her daughter, she, I think, did a podcast where she made fun of old Martha Stewart living episodes.
Love
With
that.
and Martha came on and made fun of
Yeah.
it too. So yeah, there's they didn't talk. It was interesting to me that, because I'm a big Anna Garten fan, the Barefoot Contestant. I just finished her memoir.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to me that both of these women grew up with not any type of domesticity from their mother at all, and both had a coldness and grew up in really kind of chaotic childhood. So it's
Mhm.
like as they got older, they needed to literally organize to make sense of the chaos and make things perfect.
Make it perfect because they couldn't do that in their childhood, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I want the thing that this is a little bit of an aside, but it's us. Um, I I didn't love in the documentary. Somebody would talk and it would say who the voice was, but I wanted to see them a little bit. I wanted to see what her siblings looked like.
The
Yeah.
siblings.
Like, let's see what they look like, but they didn't show anyone. And did she produce this? I know she was in
She was
she
a
did.
producer.
So I think that's important to remember the spin on it, even though she on late night shows. I was with Stephen Colbert, and he's like, "Did you enjoy doing this doc?" And she just went, "No, why would I?"
Mm-mm.
So, but anyway, I think that's just, this is coming from her. So there's going to be, maybe she didn't want her siblings shown. I don't know.
So it was 5 siblings. It was her and 4. So it seems like it's 2 from just the pictures. It seems like it was 2 daughters and 3 sons.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say her mom was domestic in that she
did say her
cooked.
mom cooked. Yeah.
She was like a school teacher, and then
Yeah,
she
that's
came home
true.
and cooked a lot, but her mother just didn't have any. She said nobody ever hugged. Nobody ever said, "I love you." She said the hugging was on an appropriate occasion.
And that maybe was part of it.
What
That
would that be? Like
generation,
if you leave for college, they're gonna hug you. If you come home,
probably
they
for
hug you.
that.
That's
My
it.
my mama, my mother said her mother never told her that she loved her. But it's different because that was my grandma Maybelle, my mom's mom. Yes, it was Maybelle. Mary Payne just cut it, but it's all one word. But
Okay, that
yeah,
doesn't surprise me. We had a Lily Bell in our family, all
okay,
one
yeah.
word. Yeah.
But we always thought just because she grew up in a covered wagon, like her childhood, because her mom was in a mental institution, so she had to cut her hair and act like a boy because her dad didn't want her to get raped. So that's how she grew up for the first 10 years of her life. And then,
Whoa.
and
Wow.
he was like a trucker back then, but a trucker back then was like with a horse and carriage. And so they just drove around Oklahoma in a covered wagon. But my mother,
in a schooner, as it
and
were.
yes, you know this because this is real because you have a husband from Oklahoma, so you
Correct.
understand it. Dave and I could probably swap covered wagon stories. I'm sure we could. And but anyway, my mom said that she would just pat them on the leg 3 times, and that's what they would get. That was an "I love you."
That sounds about right. The I love yous, like, it's interesting with that, my cousins that I'm very close with, that are like my sisters, my sister cousins, they're very, very, "I love you, I love you, I love you," like, to the point where we were always like, "Oh my God," like, it's like,
We
"Okay,
get
bye,
it.
see you later, love you, gotta see you later, love you, okay, call me later, love you." You're like, okay, they're literally going to the 7-Eleven, just relax. And my house was really, really opposite. There nobody never once never, not once, never did anybody in my house ever say, "I love you." Didn't mean we didn't have like snuggles and love and anything. It just wasn't like "I love you, I love you, I love you" all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're older now, though, when I talk to my parents on the phone or when I see them, I do go, "I love you." We do it now as adults, but growing up, that was never a thing. So I don't necessarily think the words "I love you" mean so much as long as you feel some affection from your parents. It seems like Martha never felt any affection from her
No.
parents. She was went to be a model to give all the money to her parents, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, her dad, the way they describe even the siblings, the dad was just cruel.
Sound like a real asshole.
Yeah, real, but loved. But it's interesting. Her mother was a really good cook, she said, and made delicious meals for them. And her father was this crazy expert gardener.
Did she say my dad in the morning would have a cup of coffee and a cup of red wine? Did she say in a glass of red wine? She goes, does that make him an alcoholic? I was like, the answer there is yes.
I want to say it. Now, look, yes, she did say that. There are moments where there is, oddly enough, not a lot of self-reflection from this person. And you wonder, is she not self-reflective because she refuses to be, or she can't?
There's a lot interesting about her personality here where there's not going to be a lot of, like you're saying, self-reflection. When they ask her a question, she's not going to be like, huh, yeah, probably so. I never thought of that. She's just like, no. Or, well, duh, you can read the letters. You know what I mean? And it's a shield she's put up that she's not willing to put down. And it is what it is. It would be hard to have a mother like that, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
And it is so interesting to me, really, really, that they didn't dive more into this relationship with their daughter.
I don't think she wanted to do it.
I was fascinated that when we get to the court thing, that her daughter like passed out. I was like, huh.
I mean, clearly she's, now that they're adults, clearly she's close to her daughter. Look, I don't think we're going to get it until after Martha dies. We're going to get a Mommy Dearest memoir from her daughter, 100%. So, because this is going to be, her daughter's going to be, this is going to be her empire.
Her daughter is, so if Martha's 83, the daughter's probably like 60, because Martha would have had her right out of college.
Yeah, Alexis Stewart, yeah.
Interesting.
Sorry, my little thing went on.
And is she married, and does Martha have grandchildren?
She does.
That would be interesting to have that as your grandma. That would be rough.
Oh, right.
That would be rough.
Right. She, Alexis she's 59. Sorry, my Amazon thing keeps going on. She has 2 children.
Okay.
So
Martha Stewart is my grandma, and she's one hard bitch. So, and by the way, I want to kind of like at the outset say that I completely admire everything she's done. And I think that if this was a man we were talking about, I would be saying the same, like, wow, this is a real closed off man,
I think what this documentary brought up for me is look, I don't think it's deniable. And again, I kind of have tea on the subject for later, but she treats a lot of people really horribly. We see it even in the video, the way that she treats people.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that she showed that, or let that be shown. But because that footage, of that, where she had when she was going to go to jail and she had the camera crew come in for that Easter, she looked like, she looked a wreck. Her energy was a wreck. Like she looked, how like when you're stressed out, I was this way, like whenever my dad died, I went through a breakup at the same time. Like my face just looked bloated from stress. Like you could just see the inflammation you could see that in her. So the fact that she had a camera crew, but of course she's treating these people horribly, and we see it on video. So we know that's part of who she is. Also, I did watch, of course, when it came out as a youngling, I did watch the Sybil Shepherd made for television movie. Come on, who did not? Did you
Not me. I don't even know.
Sybil Shepherd playing Martha Stewart.
Perfect casting.
It wasn't a good movie, and Sybil Shepherd was not good in it. Well, and now it's just camp, and I loved it.
You see, Anna Gasteyer recently did her again to her. It was like on the Drew Barrymore show or something. And Anna Gasteyer, when she puts the wig on and everything, strangely looks just like her.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Did Martha laugh?
Yeah, she laughed. That was the same Drew Barrymore episode where Drew was like trying to touch her, and Martha like pushed her. Was like, "What are you doing? Quit touching me!
Quit touching me!"
Don't sit on my lap, Drew Barrymore. You fucking weirdo.
She will. If I ever was on the Drew Barrymore show, we would just be cuddling by the end of the show.
You would just be like, "Wear your pajamas. We're gonna we're spooning.
We're getting close."
Yeah.
But I think this brings up. Can we talk about this? It's different in a lot of ways. But I don't know a great comparable. But we talk about like Bill Cosby like? Can we appreciate the Cosby Show with this person who did these horrible things? And she hasn't done anything like that. But there is this, she has treated people really terribly and is known for just being not kind at all. And can we appreciate those things that we still like about her? And I kind of, what I enjoyed about this documentary, I kind of came away like, I feel like a lot of documentaries want you to think one side of a person and be this camp or that. Whereas I kind of went, I'm a little of both. Like, I think she's pretty gross in a lot of ways, but good God, like you said, I respect her and admire her for what she did with her life and the way she's changed our culture. It would be like if someone said Oprah treats everybody terribly. I don't have any idea how to, but it's like, can you still see the contribution?
Y'all, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers, so many of them have had liposuction. It's lipo. Whether it's a small touch-up or a total makeover, nobody has a perfect body, you guys. Nobody. But lipo has changed a lot, and Sono Bello has been at the forefront using their LAL technology and getting these beautiful natural outcomes for each person. LAL is laser-assisted lipo, and the results are incredible. I have been on Sono Bello's website looking at the results, and I'm encouraged, and I'm going to make an appointment for a consultation. And right now, our friends at Sono Bello are offering you their best deal. You're now included in their Friends and Family Holiday Savings event. You're going to get the same price that Friends and Family get at Sono Bello. Their doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal. It's a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Whatever is your problem area, your tummy, your love handles, your thighs, your arms, they can do it all. And it's all gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great, and keep doing that. But if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during Sono Bello's Friends and Family Fall Savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/pinkshade. Okay? sonobello.com/pinkshade. sonobello.com/pinkshade, and go schedule your free consultation and get on that Friends and Family deal. I know what you're saying, and I also think she had to be that way to build the empire that she wanted to build.
Especially when she was building it, yeah.
Because everyone's just going to roll over her because they're like, oh, but here's the thing, you know, we kind of brush over the fact that she was like a teenager and went and modeled to support her family. And then was able to go to Barnard and marries this guy from Yale. So she's no dummy, you know, and then she goes and is
crazy smart,
and then goes and wants to be a stockbroker. And there's not even a women's bathroom on the stock floor. So it's like, okay, so she's got all the
job to me in the world. That's probably why I don't have money.
But she's obviously extremely smart. And so, but she took her love for doing this homemaking, which to me, the whole thing, her whole brand is happy homemaker, when she really, really is not maternal at all. She's just likes to have a garden and cook and make everything perfect and the tablescape and whatever. So it's really, really interesting to me that she's not also like the influencers of today that'll have their 7 children around and they all have perfect hair and matching out, but she's not that part of it.
It's not that part of it. And it's interesting. You know, I said something, I think on our show, on our podcast, Reality Gaze Pod.
In case you don't know.
But Sissy, our listener, messaged me and said, "Oh, I'm excited you're going to do this with MP." And she said, "You know, I bought that first Martha Stewart book that she said was like an introduction, you know, to like every woman." And she said, the book is so ridiculous. It's like how to cook lobster for 60 people.
Yeah.
How to do a charcuterie for 200.
Yeah.
She said, so it's this completely different, like no one lives this lifestyle, but yet she thinks, so it is this, she is not in touch with reality, I feel like.
Right. And I think when she did the Kmart thing is when she's like, this is me being of the people.
That's
right?
why I went to Kmart. My house was full of Martha Stewart Kmart because that's what I could afford in college.
Right. And she's like, I can make, you know, my what's the word I'm looking for? Not attainable. My word is
relatable.
It is aspirational.
Sexual. Okay.
Relax. No, aspirational. I can show this aspirational lifestyle to the poors, so the
It
poors
does
can
feel like sometimes she's like, if the peasants can dream, then they can dream. But
right. And they can give me their money and it's fine.
This is a little bit of a split, but it goes with what we're saying. My friend said this, that, and she was quoted this in an article, but she did on occasion call some of her assistants and people minions.
Okay.
So they're like that. She definitely felt like she was like decorating Jesus, I think sometimes.
Yeah, I think so. And so let's talk about the cheating situation with the husband, because I think that she did exactly what she thought she was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
She did, a lot of the people of my mom's generation just did 1 year of college or whatever, just until they get the MRS, just till they find the guy, right? My mom did that. My mom was in college for 2 years, married my dad.
MRS, y'all, is a Mrs. degree. I once said that, I think, on the podcast, and Jake went, "What's that?"
Oh, Jake.
And I went, "An MRS degree. What are you talking about? What? I didn't study that. What is it?" And I'm like, "It's not." Anyway.
It's not an actual degree. It is. You work for it.
You work for it.
And so my mom did that, and then she later went back to college when they moved, and she went back to get her degree from a different college just because she wanted to get it, just to have it.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people of that generation were like, okay, well, now I found my husband, so now it's done. But with Martha, she was like, I did that, and then I had the baby like I was supposed to. I did all those things.
Young, like 19, y'all. 19.
Yeah. Well, that's I told you when I realized at my parents', it was my parents' 60th. Nope. My parents' 50th wedding anniversary. And it was my mom's 70th birthday. And that's when I was like, you got married when you were 20?
Yeah.
And had my sister at 22. What?
Crazy.
Yeah. So it's a whole different time. But that's, to me, what's interesting is she did this, she did this, she did this. She married the guy. She did the thing.
She even married the guy when her dad said, "You're not marrying him because he's Jewish." And she was like, "Fuck you, I'm doing it."
Married the guy, did the whole thing. They get that first house. And that's where she's like, oh, this is what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to do all this. And she opens a catering company to, up for the locals to sort of subsidize this. It becomes huge, because she becomes a huge. Now, meanwhile, at this point, we stopped mentioning her kid at all. We now are only talking about her empire, and we hardly ever mention her daughter again, which I think as a mom, that's just fascinating.
Yeah. And I think that's a good word for it, because you want to judge it.
Right. But you're also like, go girl.
But you're also, I don't know. My mom's great. She gave me love and told me I was loved and all that. But would I trade that in to have, $400 million if my mom was an aloof mom? I don't think I would, but it'd be nice to have $400 million. You can buy a lot of love with that.
But you can't buy like parental love.
No, I had the better option. I'm teasing. But.
So, she, so we learn about the husband, right? So she goes on like a book tour.
Who did not age well. He was very handsome when he was younger, but then they show pictures of him older, and I was like, what happened to you?
But she always thought he was cute or whatever. She goes on a book tour. Now her fame is rising, and now he's not the king shit of the house anymore, which is hard for men.
The affairs, though, we talk about, she technically cheated on him on their honeymoon.
Right. But so that's where I'm going to talk about this lack of accountability. Okay. So we talk about, she goes on a book tour. He starts banging the flower arranger that lives in the apartment on the lower 2 acres.
Lives in the guest house.
Lives in the guest house on the lower 2. And, which, by the way, that apartment is probably 10 times nicer than this house. And they say to her, but didn't you cheat first? And she goes like, no. And they said, well, she goes, oh, I had a brief fling with an Irishman. I would have never married that Irishman. And no. And they're like, well, your husband said you cheated first and you told him, and that's why he cheated. She goes, well, that's just not true. No accountability. No accountability of the kissing of the guy on her honeymoon, and no accountability for this. But, she says to the husband, cheated on her, destroyed their marriage. She didn't want to get divorced. They had to.
And that's really excused it away too. Look, not to flex here, but actually this time last year, I was in the fucking Duomo in Florence. I was literally where she was talking. And she's like, it was so magical and it was so beautiful. And it was two young people. We saw each other across the church. Y'all, I guess having an affair in church is really the best place to have it.
It's like one cancels the other. It's
yeah,
like it didn't even
so
happen.
maybe that, but I was in the Duomo and I made out with no one. All right. I wasn't caught up in like it was no. So the way she rationalizes things in her head to not hold the same standard to herself that she holds others is
That's
odd.
the same thing with the thing about the Irishman when they were like, your husband said you told him about the cheating and then he later cheated. And she goes, well, that's not true. And she goes, I mean, it was a little fling with an Irishman. The way that she says Irishman, like, you think I'm going to leave my husband for an Irishman? I was like, what's wrong with the Irish?
Yeah.
Pretty
Hey,
hot.
exactly.
Look at Sean.
Sean.
I mean, woo!
God.
90 day, guys.
Oh, I know.
So that was interesting. That was
too. Sorry.
That was interesting about the two different people she had dalliances with. And she's just like, well, that didn't mean anything. So what my husband did was worse. Cheating is cheating is cheating is cheating. So what are we talking about? I didn't like that at all. I wish that she would have, this would have been a moment for her to be like, that was terrible. I shouldn't have done that. I don't know what came over me. And I've apologized extensively to my ex-husband. But it's just like, what are you talking about? It's not my fault.
She's definitely so, and I think it goes with later things in her with her insider trading scandal and all that. There's a lot of, well, I didn't do anything. I was just, reacting or handling the situation. It was always other people.
It's because I come away from this like really liking her, and then I'm like, oh, but just that would be so hard if you're looking at your friend in the face, like, okay, but you cheated too, and one is not better or worse than the other just because the guy was Irish. What? What?
Yeah, it basically, my friend who she actually talked about, she did when I was talking to her last night, she did say, I was trying to think of what did she actually say, her actual words. But she really felt like she said the rules of the world did not apply to her. And she never felt like she needed to go by them. And basically all but told me that because she worked for her at the time, that she 100% knew that she was doing insider trading. And so, but she said she just believed she could do whatever she wanted and other people would have to just make way for her. She said that's how she lived every day of her life.
So we're getting to the insider trading.
And sorry.
Yes, it's okay. What? Go.
And apparently the daughter, which I don't know why they didn't talk about this, the daughter dated the man who was thrown in jail who gave her the insider trading. Her daughter was fucking the guy, dating him.
No, because that guy was married with kids, right? All right, we did look that up. Okay, so anyway, she had this boyfriend, Charles, that she was dating for 15 years.
And who visited. It was a weird dating.
But I mean, they're like, listen, this works when it works because we're both like super successful. And so we meet up when we can and we sleep together and we are each other's dates and we enjoy each other's company. But we're never going to get married because whatever. So she dated him for 15 years. He visited her only twice in prison. We're getting to that. And when he tells her in bed, he tells her, listen, I'm going to marry Lisa. And she's like,
Lisa.
Huh? I looked up who Lisa is. Lisa is 32 years younger than this guy. 32 years. That is 64 to I'm 32. I'm marrying a guy that's 64.
Goals.
She is the daughter of a Swedish billionaire.
Okay.
So he traded a rich lady age appropriate to a rich lady that's not age appropriate. So in his mind, it's a win-win. And probably Lisa was probably more available to him.
Lisa probably was a little more easygoing than Martha. I mean,
she said she's never had a close relationship with men. It's very hard for her to open up. And of course, that all comes back to what we see of her parents' relationship. She feels like she can't trust men because of her first husband, even though she did the same thing, you know. So she had this successful catering business. She turns it into books. It's interesting because they said more than once, like she was the first influencer. And I remember when the Martha Stewart wedding book came out, like when my sisters were getting married, I mean, that was the Bible.
Yeah.
That was the Bible. Because then she did like the hardcover book, but then also you had like a little small book you could carry around with your checklist, and totally had that for both my sisters' weddings. And I don't know what happened with me. I was like, just do what you did for them. I don't care.
Yeah.
She turned this into an empire. Now she gets caught for the insider trading. Okay. Now they have a whole trial. And of course, this is the first time I'd ever really understood how expensive a Birkin bag was. Because when they talked about her going into prison with her Birkin bag, I knew what those Hermes Birkin bags were, but I don't think I realized they are minimum $25,000 to $50,000. That's why I'm so upset about Vanya having one, a very rare color on 90 Day, because I'm like, that is minimum a $26,000 bag used.
Not fake?
I'm going to be asking her. I'm going to talk to her in a couple of weeks. I'm interviewing her. I'm going to ask her. Her other bags, her Louis Vuitton bag she has is about a $4,000 or $5,000 bag, probably 3-4 if you're getting it off the real.
Look, she's a boss bitch.
It looks to me, because I pulled it up, did all the comparisons, because you do the comparisons of where the seams are cut and everything, because you know you've been with me, you know how I do.
I do.
That Louis Vuitton definitely was real, but I don't know if her Chanel later is real. It could be, but that Birkin, I mean, Chris Farah and I were back and forth. I was like, that's a very rare color that you just don't get. If you found that bag on the real or what goes around comes around or any of these, $26K used, $50K new. So no.
I mean,
anyway,
she needs to get rid of Bozo.
So
I call him Bozo.
Bozo. Okay. Sorry, guys. We're off on a tangent there. But okay.
But it's us.
So when that's the first time I ever kind of clocked in how expensive the bag and how she's so out of touch that probably her lawyer said, just come in a monochromatic, camel look, just have a regular bag. And she was like, well, this is my bag that goes with my camel, so I'm going to wear it. I mean, I don't care what people think. I mean, those kind of things were so bad for the press. And she really, really feels that she was made an example of. And lots of other people in the document, she was made an example of. Maybe she was. But her friend, Mariana, said she got on the plane and was like, oh, got to sell this stock. I just got a tip. Yes. She was like, could you even believe that? She was in a very bad headspace. It's like, well, she got on the stand, swore under oath. So
she
dumped it the same day that the guy's whole family dumped the stock.
Yes.
And he got in trouble. Did he go to jail? I can't remember.
He did go to jail.
Yeah.
Yes, he did go to jail. And like my friend said, this is a little, she said that basically she was on the plane. My friend wasn't on. I was like, were you on the plane? And she's like, no, but she worked for her at the time. But one of the other assistants was there. And basically her and Mariana were talking. They were talking about the trade on the plane, like it said in the documentary. And she said, I only remember the conversation, not because of the insider trading, because there was another part where basically Martha was talking about she was talking about things that needed to get done. She's like, oh, what do the dogs need to do now? And her friend Mariana was like, did you get a new dog? And Martha said, oh no, I'm talking about my assistant, and named my friend, calling her a dog. She's one of my new dogs. So she said, so that's the only reason why I remember that. And I know that happened because I remember the assistant saying, yeah, Martha was calling you a dog, her new dog, because she was a newer assistant at the time. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It's so weird and random, though. I'm like, you don't remember the inside. You remember that. But anyway.
I think I'd remember if somebody called me a dog.
Yeah. So it's this is like the back and forth of it. Did she do insider trading, which is illegal, and lie to the FBI about it? I 100% believe yes. I don't know. What do you think?
But I don't think she thinks she is lying.
No, we'll get into this later, but that is the joy of narcissism. When you are a narcissist, you don't think you do things wrong. So, and there's this, so there's that, but also I agree though too, she was made an example of, and she was doing a lot of what men do all the time and get a slap on the wrist.
Yes.
So there is the unfairness. I think they can be both things. Also, when they show the video, I have to tell this I'm going to tell it to see what Jake thinks on our show. Because we always talk about on 90 Day, we all, James and Tata, we always talk about the different, we always talk about the different faces of James, how he always looks so different and every time. But I realized on the tell-all, I went, oh my God, he looks like James Comey. That's who he looks like.
I think he looks like Tom Cruise.
Yeah, no, I don't see that.
It's something about his eye shape.
I'm gonna look now, but I don't
his
see
fangs. Not the nose. It's not the nose. It's the eyes and the fangs.
But the documentary really makes James Comey out. Comey or Comey? I forget. The guy prosecutor.
It's an M. Comey.
They really make him out to be this kind of almost not tyrannical, but this like bloodlust man out for vengeance and to make a point of Martha.
Right, because he's trying to get elected, and we know how that goes.
Which there's probably truth in that too.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, whatever. And she comes across, like, well, I didn't do anything wrong and I didn't lie and I didn't, and so there's just, even now, all these years later, which is like 20 years later, there's no, in hindsight, I probably, she could say it. She's not going to go back to prison. She could say it in hindsight, I could have handled it better. Or in hindsight, maybe I did say that to Mariana. I don't remember that I did, but maybe I did. In hindsight, maybe this, maybe that. Perhaps I was wrong, but there's none of it. It's like, I was not wrong. I did not do that. I was made an example of. It's 100% false.
I love that the little gay Twinkie assistant is the one that took her down. I'm just assuming that guy was gay. He had gay face. He just, the one that's like, yeah, she called in and she was the reddest person I ever talked to. Like, I'm hoping that he was like, they're like, do you swear to tell the truth? And they're, yes, God. That's what I'm hoping happened. And this queen, I need to look up that queen because she's probably older than me now. But that is, if a queen is what took Martha Stewart down, that's hilarious to me.
Oh, God. So, all right. Now, in prison, I think somehow, slightly, for a brief amount of time, she was humbled.
Yeah.
To see some of these women, and that they didn't have they had a garden. It was pitiful. They had no potting soil. This woman, she was there for a long time. She was trying to make it work, and they wouldn't give her any fertilizer. And so and I don't feel that because she got any of those things. I don't think that she was like, I'm Martha Stewart and I would like to have fertilizer and soil. And they were like, figure it out, bitch. No. Compost from the kitchen. Like, no. I don't think she got what she wanted. I think she made the best with what she had. And they kind of made comments like she would be in danger, but I heard her say she was in solitary one day, but I can't remember why she got put in solitary one day.
Walked by, there was a couple of prison guards walking by her, and she was like, "Oh, that outfit really looks nice." And as she walked by them, she touched their keys, and there was like, "No, that's a big no." So they put her one day in the pokey for that one.
No food, no water for one day. Yeah.
There's a bit of, I haven't.
There's no way they don't give you food and water for one day.
No. So I have another interesting story about this that, so like a month ago, I went to go see Rosie O'Donnell do stand-up. It was fantastic. She was amazing. It was
I love her
great.
So much.
She was talking about the Menendez because Rosie.
She's obsessed with the Menendez brothers.
She talks to Lyle Menendez every night on the phone. She talks about it.
Sure she does. Okay. I mean, of course she does.
And how she found people can listen. I go all into this on the pod, and Jake was like, "What the fuck does this have to do with anything?" But then everybody went, "This is the most interesting story Maddie's ever told," which is saying a lot because I tell a lot of fucking stories. Probably a lot of them not interesting. But anyway, so y'all can listen to that. But she, has become friends with Lyle Menendez. That's how she found the dog that works with autistic children for her own child that they're doing.
She's friendly with Lyle or Eric.
I think Lyle. Well, she's friends with both of them now because she said when she went to visit them, she was I think she talks to Lyle, or maybe she talks to Eric, I think.
Because Eric is the one that's a little more soft and gooey, and Lyle's kind of the hard ass, the one with the toupee that's now bald.
I think maybe it's Lyle. She talks to, I think, to Lyle every night because she wrote him a letter, or he wrote her a letter because Rosie O'Donnell said on Larry King back in the day, she said, I believe them. And Lyle wrote her a letter, said, thank you so much for believing us. I know you would never talk about this publicly, but I could tell you believe us because you understood what we went through. Because Rosie O'Donnell had a very horrible childhood.
Yes.
And
sexually
so
abused by family members and everything else.
she told this story how, like, when she went to prison the first time, she met Eric and he hugged her and said, thank you for loving my brother. It was so sweet.
Yeah.
But anyway, but Rosie said also, she said, I wrote Martha Stewart when she was in prison. And I said, if you need anything, let me know. And she said, so Martha Stewart sends me a letter and basically says, come see me. And Rosie said, I've never met her before in my life. I'd never had her on the show. Because Martha had her own show when Rosie O'Donnell. And she said, she's like, I'm sitting there in prison. And it's Rosie O'Donnell. She's like, it's just prisoners, like, you know, bulldog, like it's just, you know, like all these women. She's like, and then mocks Martha Stewart. She's like, her hair's up in this beautiful kind of clip, and she's taking the prison gray outfit and she cinched it with some type of twine on the side so that way it gives her a waist. And she said it was just like, Rosie was like, who the fuck are you? She was so I bring that up because it's just, no matter where this woman is, she will find a way to be her, to be comfortable, but also to be not in this reality that the rest of us are in. Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a long story.
No, I get it. But like our prison shows that we watch, Love After Lockup, and then also Orange is the New Black, shows you that these women will find a way to make eyeliner.
Yes.
They will find a way to make their outfits a little more flattering. And because 99% of the time, women are trying to look good for other women. I'm generally not trying to wear a cute outfit because I think all my husband's friends will think I have a cute outfit. I just know that the girls that I'm friends with will think I have a cute outfit, you know? So I think if you're in prison, you're trying to look cute for the other ladies. I mean, you know, that's true. I don't put on a nice outfit because I think that when I go somewhere to dinner, that men in there are going to be like, well, look at that nice outfit. I do it for my gay friends, my gay guy friends, and my female friends.
But
that's it.
If you're dating a guy and he goes, oh, wow, I love your Birkin bag, don't go on another date with him.
No. First of all, no.
He's gay.
And also, if you can afford a Birkin bag, don't ever get married.
If you can afford a Birkin bag, why do you need a man? Fuck that.
Roll around in your money.
Yes.
And again here, also like she did with the affair thing, again here she says, I gave you the letters, just read those. I gave you those personal letters. You can just read those. Because she does it like the producer's asking her, and she was like, just read the letters. So with the husband stuff, the letters are just like, it's funny because they're all like, my heart is breaking, blah, blah, blah. But she's really talking a lot about herself, of like, my hair is falling out. I'm gaining weight. I look sick. Because I'm so upset. Look, it's affecting my looks. And it's interesting, right? Like if somebody's cheated on you and you're really just describing how it's affecting how you look, instead of like, my heart is so broken. Like, how could you do this to me? It's more like, I gained 4 pounds because of you. And same here with the prison stuff. She's like, I don't really necessarily want to go into it, but you can read the letters that I wrote saying today was a bad day or today was interesting. She doesn't want to talk about it. Somehow she does better handwriting it down, right? Interesting. Now she gets out of prison, and when they're trying to talk to her, the funniest clip ever is, and then we see a bunch of people making fun of this clip, and I remember it. I think she was on Today Show or Good Morning America, and they're like, so Martha, about the prison. She was like, I just want to make my salad.
And she's cutting cabbage, and she keeps cutting the cabbage. So you can tell that she wants to take this huge knife that she's using to cut the cabbage. She wants to literally stab the woman in the neck.
She's just like, I've already told you.
Angry.
I've already told you I cannot discuss this. And I'm just here to make my salad. And it's just like we see the clip several times of when the person comes up touches her hair, and she goes, "I don't like my hair like that. Don't touch me." You know?
Mhm.
And those little things I can forgive, but
Yeah.
ugh. So after prison, it was after prison when they put her on this talk show that tanked because they brought like celebrities on, or was that before she
Mhm.
went to prison?
It was produced by Mark Burnett.
But it was after prison, and you could see like celebrities on there trying to like, and she's like, "So, do you cook at home?" And like, no,
No, like when they showed someone trying to teach her how to pole dance, I went, "Well, this is far afield."
no, no.
And then, but what is kind of heartbreaking about it is I didn't know this about her. I didn't know was the first female American billionaire.
Before Oprah, maybe.
But no, she was the first. And so, yeah, way before Oprah. And I know a lot of people, myself included, have feelings about billionaires right now. That's a whole other conversation. But it's still very admirable that she did that as a woman and who didn't come from,
And really just herself.
just truly
Really just
herself
herself. Yes.
and her and with her own vision. And so she was able to, why she made really a lot of money, she did kind of what Oprah did. If we learned anything from, I guess, billionaires, it's own your own shit and control your own stuff.
Right.
And so that's what is sad when you see that talk show. She had, the stock had plummeted. I mean, she's still worth, I think, like 400 million. But she lost control. And so she was at someone else's control of her show and she wasn't controlling. And so that's why she was doing all that. And that did break my heart. That would break my heart for anyone, that you are in this full creative space. And then suddenly now you have to give that away to someone.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. And you have to sell it off, piece by piece,
Yeah.
Yeah. So did we see this Justin Bieber roast thing? And it's sort of, we see all the clips from it and stuff. And it's making people realize like, okay.
I remember when this happened.
I do too. And she's going to actually sit and take it. And she's going to allow jokes to be made about her, which she didn't realize was going to happen. And in Martha fashion, you would think that she'd be like, okay, get up and leave. Like, you're not going to talk, but she sat there and she took it and she waited her turn. And it really made people look at her differently. Like, okay, she is funny. She is relatable.
Well, she was by far I watched that whole, she was by far the funniest person on the whole roast. And she really she made fun of herself, but she really went in. She was just brutal.
Yeah.
And so people were shocked. That's something that's interesting about.
And you wonder who wrote all that for her, because she didn't write all that herself.
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah.
None of them do. But it's, as we're creative people. We do creative, fun things. And for me, like, again, I love Ina Garten. So she talks about following the fun. And that's kind of something that I've done in like the last 10 years of my life, is if it's not fun to me, I don't want to do it. But Martha Stewart's interesting because she does a lot of things she does not want to do. She didn't want to do this roast. You could tell she had no desire to do this, but she went, they're telling me this is going to be, it's this kind of scrappiness. I'll do whatever I have to do.
It's a new audience. Yeah.
To be present. And from that came Snoop Dogg, and which, like she said, has made her, because I do remember we were kind of after her prison thing. We were all kind of like, well, some people were even like, Martha Stewart, who's that? And she made herself famous again, and she made herself back in the lexicon of culture. And she's done that for 50 years, which is really freaking hard to do.
Yeah, it's like every time she gets knocked down, a new thing comes up, And so the two of them seem to have some sort of like dinner party show that I've never watched. But
it's hilarious. It's a lot of her making jokes, and like she will make brownies, and then Snoop is making brownies, but his version of brownies.
Yeah,
And it's very, their chemistry is undescribable and so weird and so wonderful.
I wish they would have talked about her restaurant in Vegas that I've been to now twice. It's the Bedford. It's in the Paris Hotel.
I've been with Caitlin. That bread,
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. It's probably, one of the top 5 most expensive meals I've ever had in my life. And like literally I was like fighting with Dave, like, please let's just split a steak because of being on the Manjaro and stuff. I know I'm not going to be able to eat it all. And then we can't even like take it home to get to the dogs because we're in Vegas. And he's like, we're not going to, cheap out on this. We're just going to do it. And we did. We left half the food on the table.
Did you have any wine?
No, I had, because both times I went, I had a white Cosmo, which changed my life completely. Like I came home and tried to make it myself because I got the guy to tell me how to make it. This year, I'm thankful for trashy reality TV, my sweet dogs, my family, and discovering Lumi whole body deodorant. Why? Because Lumi is a deodorant like no other. It was created by an OBGYN who discovered BO isn't just an underarm thing, it's an all over thing. So she developed a pH optimized deodorant that's clinically proven to block odor everywhere, not just your pits, but your privates, your feet, your underboob, wherever you've got it, beyond everywhere. And the best part is no matter where you use it, Lumi is proven to keep working for up to 72 hours. If 3 days of odor control isn't something to be thankful for, I don't know what is. And after many requests, they formulated a new product to keep you smelling fresh and help you stay drier. Lumi Whole Body Deodorant plus Sweat Control. The same 72-hour odor control now with 72-hour sweat control. You guys, come on. You can experience the same outrageously effective 72-hour odor control while keeping sweat under control too. Lumi is baking soda free and paraben free and pH balanced for safe use below the belt, if you know what I'm saying. Lumi Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like the mini body wash and deodorant wipes. Deodorant wipes are great, y'all. And free shipping. And as a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack, y'all. So use code PINKSHADE for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. Okay, that's code PINKSHADE for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. Use code PINKSHADE at LumiDeodorant.com, and please support our show and tell them we sent you. So it's very expensive.
It's an hour flight. Just leave your construction and go to Vegas. I'll meet you.
Me? It's not an hour flight for me, mister. It's 5.
Well,
I may as well go to Paris.
Yeah.
I may as well just go to Paris.
Yeah, that's true.
So but the guy, the waiter, we talked to him for a long time. The flowers that they have in the drink that I love the flowers are flown in every day from her estate. Every day they fly flowers in from Martha's estate that we saw, fresh flowers into the restaurant for garnishes, for drinks and everything. That's flown in every single day.
It is one of the best meals I've ever had. It was beautiful.
And it's crazy that it's tiny and it's in the middle of a casino.
And it's not even like its own standalone property, y'all. It's in there like when you walk through Paris, like through the little streets. It's like it feels like it's like Vegas strip mall. I mean, it's not a strip mall, but like it's right there. And I just got the roast chicken that everybody talked about, and it was the best roast chicken I've ever had in my life.
We just each got a steak of some sort. Well, my husband may have gotten duck, a steak of some sort, and then a bunch of sides. And then, of course, that bread comes. But at the time, because I knew I couldn't eat very much, I was trying to eat just a little bite of everything as I really wanted to. Because I really, that you want to get dessert, like you got to get everything.
Yeah,
everything. So good. Now, I will say that at the very end, what she tells us is that she can finally accept a bit of non-perfection. A bit. I don't believe her.
I don't believe a lot of things Martha Stewart says, if I'm honest. I don't. But no, she does not. This woman wants things to be perfect, and I don't think she wants to change. No.
She's 83. No.
And now anybody who's working for him, like, y'all, she's not going to change. It's who she is. She's in such great health though, but she's also said things like she looks really great. She's like, well, I've never had a facelift or anything. I'm like,
Now, girl, this is another thing that I obsess over is always trying to figure out like what people have had done. You and I have had things done and I can spot it. So she's definitely had the upper bluff.
Yep.
Because even when she was young, like 30s, 40s,
she had a lower bluff too.
All of this was very overhanging. Yeah. So she definitely had that, but not egregiously.
No.
She definitely has not had this. She hasn't had an upper brow lift, I don't think.
I don't think she has, no.
But she's definitely had the lower facelift. She's 83. She looks 65. So she doesn't look like she's trying to be 42. Do you know what I mean? She looks age appropriate, but she looks better than 83 for sure.
Yeah, I think that she definitely, again, it's just, I mean, look, this woman has a lot of mental illness. And
Matt.
No, she does, because this is it. My friend told me
mental illness is strong.
Well, I asked my friend, I was like, look, is she narcissist? Is she sociopathic? Because she does not have empathy for people. It's like, that's a sociopathic trait. And so my friend said, well, all I can say is this, is that there were like 2 or 3 people were allowed to go in Martha's personal bathroom in her house. And I was one of those people. And she said, we all knew, because sometimes we would need to get her medicine. And she said she was on several medicines for psychiatric issues that were personality driven issues. And I said, she's like, and that's all I can say. And I know my friend, I know her from psychiatry grad school. So she knows what she's talking about. So I just bring that up, that
how did she go from being in psychiatry grad school to being Martha Stewart's assistant?
She did Martha Stewart's assistant when she was young. Living in Chicago and all that. She did that. And then, because she worked a lot on Living. She was her assistant, but like through the magazine a lot.
Got it.
And so then she was like, honestly, it was because of Martha. She's like, fuck this. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be called a dog or a minion. You know, she said in the video, I remember that day of the video because I just cut my hair. And she had told me, she's like, oh, you finally cut your hair. We've all been waiting.
And I also think in my opinion, if you work for somebody like that, you know what you're getting. You know what you're getting, and you know that it better be perfect, and you better be one step ahead if something's not perfect, to be like, Martha, I want to tell you, this did not go. Here's what I did to make sure it happened, but it didn't. And I'm not blaming other people, but you have to just know how to handle somebody like that, and you can't predict if they're going to go off on you or call you a dog. I think that if you're trying to be funny,
like her with all this shit, there's something that's still like I enjoy her.
Me too. Listen, I take Vyvanse, which makes me very sort of not
pretty.
Yeah. It's a mood stabilizer, right?
Okay.
So it makes you not so up and down.
Vyvanse. That sounds like a type of workout, like in the 90s. Come and do Vyvanse. And it's just like some like Richard Simmons type of guy. Just Vyvanse.
Yeah. Okay.
Right,
but it makes me very, and I started taking it when, my husband had to go to rehab and all that. And so my emotions were so crazy, and I'm trying to take care of kids and deal, and that my doctor put me on this, and I've been on it ever since, and I'll never go off of it because, my God, but it does make you a little bit like, I don't have like swinging emotions. And so I wonder if she's on something like that keeps her a little steady.
Possibly, yeah.
And she's already narcissistic. So if it keeps you super steady, then you do kind of appear a little robot-like.
Because she's got anger issues, and I bet that she probably went to a doctor because she probably blew up and was inappropriate, and other staff members or people close to her were like, you got to get a handle on this or you're going to get fucking sued.
Yeah. But then again, somebody like that wouldn't hear that. You know what I mean? Who would she listen to? Would it be her daughter? Who would she listen to if somebody said that to her? Who would it be?
Yeah, it's like it's
her husband, her boyfriend, because she's still in that mindset of, you need to have the man.
And when there's somebody like Martha, I am not anything like Martha Stewart, but I won't fly coach anymore or go to an airport if I can't get into a Delta lounge. I'm just not going to do it. And so I'm gonna be like Lisa Barlow on this week. Like, I can't fly, coach. I can't fly, coach. But I think that, like, if I ever got that level of fame, notoriety, wealth, you try to tell yourself, oh, I'd be humble, I would be salt of the earth. But I've had several friends now that have been assistants like her or Barbara Streisand or really famous people. And kind of one thing they say is that is a commonality. It's just, they say they're so famous and so rich. It's just they live in a different world than we live in, and they have different rules for their life that we don't have. And so I just don't know if that's anything we're ever going to. I think it's really hard for those people that are crazy, that are billionaires, to just stay grounded in reality.
Yeah, and I think if you have somebody doing every single thing for you. I had a good friend of mine from high school that was my roommate in college, and she was in her house that she grew up in. Like, she would take a bath and get out of the bathtub, and that was it. And then she would come back and it would be cleaned. She would leave a bowl on the kitchen sink and come back and it would be gone. So when she lived with me, she didn't quite understand that there was nobody coming to pick up that bowl. So it would sit and just grow like mold.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because you're like, who do you think is coming? There's nobody lives in this dorm room with us that's going to come and pick, you know what I mean? She was so used to just living that way with staff that could just do things for you that she didn't understand she had to do it herself. So she would just eventually, just throw the bowl in the trash with the spoon. Like, there would be no cleaning it, because that's just, you just throw it out. And so I think
Which sounds crazy to us.
Right. It sounds crazy to me. Like, clean the bowl out and use it again, you know? But for her, it was like, oh, it's just whatever. My mom will get me a new one or whatever. I don't think she's like, well, maybe she's like that now, but she's a great person and whatever. It's no reflection on her as a human. It was just the way she's used to being treated. And
no, I think that's a good example.
And I think that with Martha, you know, after her level of fame and everything, and after she got that catering company and everything was so perfect, and then the level of having assistants and all this, let me tell you what, once that flower arranging assistant started fucking her husband, you can better believe every assistant afterwards suffered.
Oh, burned. Yes, for sure.
So all right. So now tell me, we've now reached the tea part of the.
Well, I've kind of told a lot of the tea as we've gone along.
Oh, I mean, we were going to save it for the end.
My friend did say, I don't save things for the end. I say that all the time, and I don't. But no, some other things she did tell me is I'm going to pull over our conversation because she texted me some things later. But
she did tell Matt it was fine to say all this.
Yes.
And she even said you could use her name, but you're not going to, which I think is smart.
Yes. But my friend would talk about, she did say, so the guy who owns a biotech company, that was the insider trade. So it's the guy who owned the biotech company, that was the insider trading. She said, I know him through her and her daughter. Her daughter dated him, and then they broke up. But they kept sending letters to one another, because I know this. She said, because I had to file the letters because everything was kept. She said it was so junior high reading these letters, and he would come to the New York office as well, because that's the time where she looked. But she talked about that at one point she said, she actually sent me the article from Spy magazine that talked about Martha and talked about being her minions, and they even talk about one particular minion named Angel, which my friend said that it was her name, or is her name. But she also said, though, that that same week that she was that the insider trading happened and all that, she's like, it was before she got busted. She's like, but that was the same way she told me. She sat me down one day really intensely and said that I needed to watch and write down absolutely everything and learn all the things that she's doing, because she won't live forever and she might get hit by a bus, and they need somebody to know what she does.
The hit by the bus was interesting.
And and when she said that term, my friend hasn't watched the documentary. She's like, I don't watch it. So she said, when she said that, I went, oh, that's a term Martha used in the thing. So it really kind of corroborated.
No, Corroborated.
Corroborated.
It's
Corroborated.
corroborate. It's R's and then another R. Corroborated.
Ever since I got braces, R's are hard.
Corroborated.
I'm ready to get these fucking things off. But anyway, so that's I told y'all all the other tea about like her being called a dog and a minion and all that kind of stuff. So that was basically that's all that she can tell me, because I think my friend's writing a book. So or yeah, something like that. So good for her.
She's waiting for her to die, and then she's gonna put it out.
But yeah, she lived in a different world. I mean, it's like if like you get attached to like certain things and you have a certain lifestyle all your life, and then your mother takes away your favorite lammy because she said has stuffing out and you're a despondent dog. I feel sorry for the dog.
I know. Wow. Ginger.
She was so cute in that video.
Oh gosh, she's so bad.
She's so cute.
She's just not the brightest.
So so my question to you is, if you like, do you feel any like guilt or anything like buying Martha Stewart products or anything? I still don't.
I don't, but I don't think I buy. I will tell you this. I think my porch furniture is Martha Stewart.
I've sat on that furniture. It's really nice.
Yeah, I think I got it from Wayfair, but it was like Martha Stewart.
Oh,
yeah.
Great.
But I can't imagine. I don't know any other Martha Stewart stuff I have like in my home. But I would.
I don't think I do now, just because there's not.
She doesn't do the brands like she used to, and Kmart closed. So
Kmart closed. Yeah. R.I.P.
What if Martha did like a collab with Target? You know how sometimes they do those Target collabs, like Missoni and all that, Lily and all that. I would buy the shit out of that stuff.
Probably, although it's not really my style anymore. Like, it's more probably I'm more a little Art Deco and funky.
Yeah. I wonder. She's getting so much press from this, you know, and I haven't watched any late night clips or anything that she's done. I mean, just the ones that they showed us, but I haven't seen any specifically regarding this. I wonder what will come of this, if this will be like another resurgence of Martha.
Possibly, you know, because what she became good at after prison was, quote, and I use quotes, making fun of herself.
Being a personality.
And that made her, everybody went, oh, she gets it. But after watching this, I'm like, I don't think she gets it. I just think she was told and figured out, if I make fun of myself, people like me more and will buy my shit more, and I'll get to do more shit. I really think that's kind of her impetus for doing all of that.
Yeah. And I think I want to go back to what you said about the mental illness. I think that's, I'm honing down on that, because I think that's like strong language, unless we're saying mental illness, like I have to be on a mood stabilizer because I was too all over the place. And if we're saying like that's mental illness,
I'm saying it like, you know, some people say, oh my God, he's so narcissistic.
Yeah.
And it's be like somebody who's a little self-involved. No, I mean, she's actually diagnosable, has a personality disorder of narcissism. That is that is a mental illness. So that's what I mean by that.
Okay. I just think we're not trying to say like she's schizophrenic, or we're not trying to say anything like that. We're just saying like, yeah, just like I, you know, like my daughter has depression. I mean, yeah.
She could have potentially diagnosable OCD. We don't know, which I, you know, and I don't mean OCD like, oh my God, my mom makes me like check all my bags. No, I would not be shocked if Martha Stewart like has to get up and arrange a flower that she's obsessing is in the wrong place in the middle of the night, and she has to fix it.
Yeah, right. And you can imagine what her fridge looks like. You can always tell by somebody's fridge. Mine looks like a fridge blew up inside of a fridge is what my fridge looks like. Yeah. Yours is probably pretty neat.
Not right now.
No.
No.
I'd seen your fridge one time. We were on a FaceTime. You're like, look at my fridge. And I had like 4 things in it.
I go back and forth. I don't really cook as much. Although, man, I wish you were here. I had some this morning. I was like, I wish I could share this with Mary Payne. I made a pound cake, and good God, it's good with your coffee.
Ooh, a pound cake. Do you have the like the bunt pan thing that's like that?
No, I put it in a loaf actually, and it's a vanilla cream cheese pound cake. and you take like
Yum.
you put butter in the pan, and then you put turbinado sugar, that kind of granular, like sugar in the raw. You put it on the pan. So then then you pour the batter in, and then when it cooks, the outside has all this kind of crusty caramelized sugar.
Oh man, I want that. Would you send me the recipe? Because I'd like to make that.
It's on a garden. Everything I cook is on a garden or giada. But
I don't like giada.
I've heard she's not great either.
Yeah. In a garden I can't speak of. I know that you love her, and my friend Doug Buden loves her as well.
If someone says a word, you can talk shit about other people I like.
Except for me.
But yes, don't you tread on Mary Payne or Ina. I will cut you. I will cut you.
You guys, earlier this week, this is a little insider tea. Matt met Amy Phillips, who's a good friend of mine, as you guys know, podcaster, drama darling, also was on Radio Andy for 8 years. Famous Amy Phillips. Matt met her because she's going to come and be our podcast movement panel with us in Chicago in March.
That's if we get accepted. We're applying for it.
No, we will be accepted. And they met because, to meet each other, to be on the panel. And afterwards they came away from it being friends, and I got real jealous. No, stop. And I got really jealous, and I was like, I don't like this at all. And Amy goes, I'm sorry. You can't take the train off the tracks. It's happening. I was like,
you're the one that invited her to Nantucket.
What I said was she qualifies. She qualifies.
Y'all, Mary Payne texted me like 3 times. You don't love her more than me, do you? I was like, no. But we do. We know a lot of the same people.
I'm sure you do. You're show people.
Ronnie and I were all part of the same improv. We were it was one of those stories where we were literally in all the same places at the same time, but just never talked to one another.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's nice meeting. Pod people are the best. We have so many good friends now through podcasting. So
I know. It is the best. It is the best. It's the best thing. It's the best thing. It's the best way because I don't feel, and I'm going to tell you a story off mic in a little bit, because I don't feel a competition or the need to tear anybody down or the need to be like, that person's a fucking idiot or making fun of people. I'm just like, these are all my people. These are all my people. I don't feel like I've got like Amy Archer does exactly what we do pretty much, except for she does a lot of Sister Wives. I don't feel competitive with her or try to find a way to like undercut her. I'm like, rising tide lifts all boats. Like everybody go listen to Amy Archer. Everybody listen to Reality Gaze.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about the podcast community.
Yes.
We love each other.
We do love each other.
We do.
We were just texting with Kim from Cray Cray this morning.
Oh, good. Did there's a whole, like, you guys, there's a whole, you know how much we fucking hate Patreon. There's a thing with Patreon and the RSS feed. Supercast is so much better. What'd she say? Did they get it fixed?
She hasn't texted back yet.
I got to make sure mine's not fucked up too. I got to tell Ingrid to look at that.
I don't have any. I'm ostriching it. I'm putting my head in the sand.
Okay, me too.
Pulls it out and says, things are on fire.
That's what, I think that's when I started taking that medication 10 years ago. I've just become very ostrich. I'm like, it's fine. I'm just going to be over here. And you just, when I need to get involved, let me know. I'm the opposite of Martha Stewart.
I got my poncho. I'm fine.
Okay. Once January hits, we do have to start talking about our Nantucket trip. We're going to talk to Gibbs and Johns. He's going to tell us exactly what to do, and we'll do that.
Okay. I don't know who that is, but okay.
Okay, Gibbs and Johns is a writer and a podcaster, and
you did tell me about him. From my goldfish brain, I forgot.
Yeah, he's from Georgetown. It was very fancy. Went to very fancy school and everything. Okay. His parents started the company that his parents own is Scout Bags. Okay, you know about Scout Bags? I think maybe you're not preppy enough for Scout Bags, but. Is a thing. Anyway, his family, Nantuckets, they summer in Nantucket. He knows all the things. So that's the kind of guide we need.
Perfect.
Yes. Kate Casey is also qualified for the trip. She probably won't go because she's got too many kids. We know that she won't go. I told Amy Archer that she was qualified.
Okay.
Whether or not she wants to go, I don't know. But I've some people have qualified. So far, you're the only male.
That's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine.
My husband wants to be qualified, but no, he's not.
No.
He's not. All right. I'm going to play our music here. You don't have to dance again. I mean, you can.
I'm not. I won't.
You did it at the beginning, but
no, there's no need. I won't do it.
All right, Matt. Thank you for talking
Thank
about
you
this
for having me.
very cool episode. Everybody go watch Martha on Netflix. And goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, no. He said he wasn't going to do it, but he did it. Jesus. Here we go. You guys, if you're not watching on video, you're really missing out. Bye.